Hello everyone and welcome back to another Star Wars The Black Series action figure review. Today we're taking a look at Greef Karga's Astromech Droid R4-6D0 from Star Wars The Mandalorian, and this is a really fun figure. It is of course based on the brand new Astromech Droid sculpt that first debuted with R2-D2 in the Return of the Jedi 40th anniversary line, and while I can think of at least maybe 5 or 6 Astromechs that I'd have loved to have seen in the Black Series before R4, this is a really fun figure on its own merits. I love the colour scheme on this one, the design is really nice, and it's just a fun figure to have in the collection, and I do believe this marks the first time that I've actually reviewed a figure based on this new Astromech Droid sculpt, so this is going to be a really fun review. If you want to pick this one up for yourself, as always, there's a link down below in the video description where you can grab this one at staractionfigures.co.uk. And before we dive into this review, I would like to give a huge thanks to the guys over at Hasbro UK who were kind enough to supply this figure for a review. So before we dive into the action figure itself, as always, let's take a look at the packaging that R4-6D0 comes in. So as it pertains to packaging, as you can see, R4-6D0 does come in the slightly older Phase 3 style Black Series packaging. We do have, of course, the colour band around the edge of the box indicating that this figure is from The Mandalorian, and then down the side we have the angled edge featuring the mural artwork of the character. Really cool design there. You've got Nevarro in the background, snippets of some of the other characters available in the line as well, and then on the reverse side we have that image of the character once again, accompanied by a brief description, and as you can see, this is the 35th figure in the Black Series line from The Mandalorian, which is absolutely wild to me. The fact that, for example, Darth Sidious that I previously reviewed was only number 1 to be released from Revenge of the Sith in this style packaging, and yet this is the 35th figure from The Mandalorian, just goes to show you how oversaturated the line has become with Mandalorian figures. That's not necessarily a bad thing because there's some great characters available, but I think it's time to give it a little bit of a rest now. There are a ton of other figures that need to be released in the Black Series, and Hasbro are definitely making strides to do that. We're seeing a lot of love for the prequels as of late. There's some really cool figures on the plate for the next few months, so I'm really looking forward to seeing what the Black Series has to offer on that front. So with packaging aside, let's dive into the review and take a look at the figure itself. So here is R4-6D0 out of the packaging, and like I said, this is a really fun figure. Right off the bat, I absolutely love the colour scheme on this one. I think the reds and the oranges really stand out, and he definitely has that all-important shelf presence when he's displayed with your other figures. I think it's a really nice touch to have all these colours on the figure as they reflect the costume of Greef Karga, and this is of course Greef Karga's Astromech, so it's a nice representation of that. It's really also cool to have the R4 droids represented in the Black Series finally as well. As you can see, it has that very unique, very cool looking dome, which looks absolutely phenomenal, and the sculpt on this one can't be understated. It really does look good. Like I said, the entire droid is based on the brand new Astromech Droid sculpt that was introduced when R2-D2 was released in the Return of the Jedi 40th anniversary line, and also later in The Mandalorian. But yeah, it's just a really cool figure. It stands out really nicely on shelf. Like I said, I can think of a number of different Astromech droids that I would have rather seen in the Black Series before this one, but that's not to say that this is not a really nice figure. Please do sound off in the comments down below with some of the droids that you'd like to see in the Black Series. I think one that really stands out to me is Golde, R3-6 from the Clone Wars. I think that would be a great droid to get into the Black Series. But yeah, this one's just very unique, very cool looking. It's definitely one of the more obscure choices Hasbro could have gone with. I'm thinking of tons of Astromechs from the original trilogy as well that could have been brought to life in the Black Series, but this is an inspired choice. It's a really cool design, like I said, fits in nicely with the current media that we're getting in the Black Series as well. But yeah, just a really nice figure in its own right. Like I said, really nicely painted, definitely pops with those vibrant reds and oranges, and yeah, looks really cool on the shelf. Now, of course, being based on the new Astromech Droid sculpt, this one does feature all the usual articulation that you'd expect from an Astromech Droid, which isn't a great deal if I'm being honest. We do, of course, have a swivel at the head, and there's a hidden feature with that, which we'll touch on later on in the review. We also have swivels at the hip or the thigh, depending on what your definition of this articulation point is. When it comes to droids, we also have hinges at the ankles as well, and there is a hinge on the ankle on the third leg, which is quite a bit of a pain to extend, and we'll touch base on that once again in just a little bit. But yeah, in terms of sculpted detail, all the little mechanical elements are there. Like I said, the paint applications are really nice and crisp, and overall it just looks really good. I'm well impressed with this one. I think it's a great figure. Love all these little subtle details on the paintwork, like these little white panels. These look really cool. Yeah, just a great looking droid. Really nice indeed. And like I said, the new Astromech droid sculpt itself comes with a ton of hidden features and really cool accessories. So let's dive in and take a look at those. So when we talk about hidden features, boy oh boy does this figure pack a real punch. As you can see, there are a ton of additional accessories, opening panels and hidden features with this figure. And these new Astromechs, I've got to say, are some of Hasbro's best Black Series work. I think they're absolutely amazing. Proportion wise, obviously, they're a lot more in scale with the rest of the Black Series line. The initial R2-D2 figure that came out in the Black Series was very short, and we'll do a bit of size comparison before this review wraps up. But yeah, like I said, in terms of accessories and hidden features, just look at what this figure's got going on. Like I said, there is the third leg option, which does descend from the body, and gone is the gimmick of turning the head to descend the centre leg, which I really like. I'm glad that that's a thing of the past. The articulation point, as I said, is present there at the ankle, so that does move, and you can have the droid in his tripod stance if you so wish, which is really cool. And then, like I said, you've got all these opening panels and additional accessories on the body. And I just want to give a bit of credit to my wife's handiwork, because, like I said, these panels, in addition to the third leg, are incredibly tricky to open, especially if you don't have nails. So kudos to her for helping me out to get these all opened up and extended. Thank you. But as you can see, yeah, tons of really cool accessories. You've got all these extensions which attach to the main droid body itself. When you open up these side panels, there are indeed 3 holes on either side, but there are only 4 attachments with this figure. I do believe with R2-D2 and R5-D4 there were a few more. And again, we'll do a bit of a comparison before the end of this review with those other figures as well. But yeah, I just really love this option, and like I said, these just plug in. They don't extend from the body itself, so you can swap and change and intermingle all these different parts, which is really cool. And then you've got these 2 panels on the front of the droid as well, which do indeed open up, and it just gives you a really cool alternative display option, something that we haven't really had with droids in the Black Series before. I think between this, the Super Battle droid, and some of the other figures that they've been releasing in the Black Series recently, Hasbro are absolutely killing it with droids, and this one is definitely no exception. I absolutely love all these extra accessories and hidden features. And if you don't want to display the figure with these extra attachments, there is one more all-important hidden feature with this figure. Now, you don't have to turn the head to descend the centre leg anymore, but what you can do is extend the head itself, and that gives you this weird little option, which is storage for these extra attachments, and they just unplug from the body itself. They can be stored in these grooves in the neck, and then the head just pops down and stores those accessories away if you don't want to display the figure with them, which I think is an absolute stroke of genius. I can't remember whether this is based on some sort of reference material. I'm led to believe that this is something that happens in the expanded universe or is in some sort of visual dictionary. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I know it's based on something from existing Star Wars media. But I just think that's something that's really cool to be incorporated into an action figure. Like I said, it just gives you a much better display option when it comes to those accessories. It gives you something a little bit different. And yeah, in terms of sculpt, paint applications, accessories and hidden details, this figure just has it all, as do all the Astromechs that Hasbro have been releasing in the Black Series over the past year or 18 months or so. So yeah, I'm really happy with this figure. I think if you pick this one up for yourself, you will be as well. And here's hoping that Hasbro churn out a ton of new Astromech droids in the Black Series in the near future. There are a ton I'd love to see, and like I said, if you guys have any suggestions, be sure to drop them in the comments down below. So just for the sake of comparison before we wrap up this review, here he is alongside his Astromech Droid counterparts. We have R2-D2 and R5-D4. Like I said, I am so impressed with how these new Astromechs have turned out in the Black Series line. I think it was long overdue to update the sculpt, and Hasbro have done a really good job. R2-D2 in particular looks absolutely phenomenal, and R5-D4 is a really cool addition to the line as well. So long may this Astromech run of success continue in the Black Series 6-inch line. I hope Hasbro have got plans for many other droid variations in the Black Series, but yeah, R4-6D0 is a really cool droid, and I'm really happy to see him in the line. And here you can see just how outdated that original Astromech droid sculpt is in comparison to the new releases. The older Astromech droids are so much shorter. They are well accessorized, but these new ones just really do take the cake. They are so well done. Height-wise, proportions, accessories, paint applications, sculpt, everything about these are just so cool, and I really can't wait to see more Astromechs added to the Black Series 6-inch line. So that concludes this review on R4-6D0 Greef Karga's Astromech from The Mandalorian. Once again, a really cool addition to the Black Series 6-inch line. I absolutely love the design of this droid. The hidden features are amazing. The colour scheme looks fantastic. And overall, it's just a great addition to the collection. So be sure, once again, to hit that link down below in the video description if you'd like to purchase this one for yourself. R4 is currently available and in stock at staractionfigures.co.uk, and he's a really cool Astromech droid to add to your collection. I'll be back with many more Black Series 6-inch figure reviews very soon. In the meantime, as always, thank you for watching, keep collecting, and may the Force be with you.